Can we hit 30,000 subscribers by August? Subscribe if you haven't already to support more aviation analysis. One of the most significant talking points in the Airbus A350 series isn't the A350 freighter, it's not the A350-1000 for Project Sunrise, but I think personally the A350 stretch. Some have dubbed it the A350-2000, others the A350-1100. One thing though that it would promise is additional capacity, and it has continued to emerge in headlines over the past 10 years, and new developments occur every few months or so about the variant, with comments being made. And what better time than as the Paris Air Show comes up, Airbus's home air show, to take a look at such a variant once more, the latest comments, propositions, and why we're yet to see a plane that, according to some, could replace the A380, even better, compete with the 777X and fill a niche that would see competition struggle to excel. Or would it? So, the A350 stretch, as I'll refer to it from here on out, is a proposed, well, you guessed it, stretch that could see further seating inside the cabin with 45 rumoured additional seats, although this is not to be confirmed at this point, as there is nothing final. What it would do is give the customers that placed a commitment additional capacity, and would be achieved through minimal yet also essential changes to the overall aircraft fuselage. While a challenge, it could be completed easier than, say, other options that maybe would see them produce a total new airliner. As you know, Airbus is already certified and has a working variant, the -1000, to experiment with if they do want to create any other derivatives. Talk of such an A350 stretch initiated at the beginning of the A350 program, when initially we were met with just 3 variants: the A350-800, the A350-900, and lastly the -1000. Eventually, the smallest would cease and would just have 2 primaries. However, when in 2019, Airbus was forced to announce that they'd stop production on their world's largest passenger plane, the A380, by 2021, there were pretty heavy discussions that presented themselves with regards to potentially needing a plane that had similar, at least, passenger capabilities to the 4-engine beast, as these same people believed there'd be a gap in the market between Airbus's largest offering, the A350-1000, and the on-the-way-out A380. Very quickly, the Airbus CEO said that speculation over such a variant had grown to a size even he couldn't comprehend, and that a -2000 model at the time, or a stretch, simply wouldn't be required. Why? Well, because he saw no demand for a plane that would, say, aspire to hit the 500-seater capacity, saying that we had very much moved away from needing planes such as these. These were comments ushered to Executive Traveller at the time, and have certainly stuck with me and I think many others. As whenever talk of a stretch is brought up, Airbus executives say the same thing, believing that high-capacity jets just simply aren't what they used to be, and as a plane maker, especially with the effects of the pandemic, the types of planes they're producing are different, and no longer your 4-engined 500-seater capacity jets. If airlines are after larger aircraft, the biggest they'll get is the 777-9 and the A350-1000, which will always come up shy, but is the best possible alternative at the moment. An article that was only recently published by Air Insight can be found below in the sources area of the description. However, it highlights that now, even in 2023, Airbus simply doesn't have the intention to pursue an A380 stretch yet, to cover the losses that maybe some may have felt they've had from shutting down production on the 380. The stance of executives just hasn't changed, with the firm belief that such a variant isn't needed. Some agree and some disagree, so before I get on any further in this video, I'd be interested to hear your take on the need for high-capacity jets and where we currently stand as an industry. Obviously, in the form of quad-engine planes, we can definitely say goodbye to those as they're wildly out of favour. But with twin-engine jets emerging as a leading force for the future, and especially for either ultra-long haul or high capacity, there is a notable gap in the market however you want to look at it. and you think a 500 plus seater jet will be required, say in 7 years or 5 years' time. Airbus certainly doesn't shy away from noting that they studied a stretch in the past. It was really, though, their due diligence to understand customers' demands and the capabilities of their own aircraft that they were launching. It doesn't mean that they proceed with it, it just means that the study was undertaken, and this has happened in numerous aircraft programs throughout the years. It's something that they just do. The Dash 1000 at the moment remains their most significant variant and what Airbus now calls their flagship, which I must admit definitely takes some getting used to, now having the A380 no longer in production. It's a change that has hit hard. They believe also that this Dash 1000 is such a size that is more than adequate, and they don't need to go any bigger. I emphasize for now because there are still some people that believe an A350 stretch of kinds may be needed later down the line. Now, I'm not talking 2 years, but some maybe see it in 2030 or later. The studying would indicate that it's not required for now, but again, forums predict that we may see it. Pair all this with the reality that the Boeing 777X program has thus far had a pretty lackluster performance, with delays plaguing the type and interest also not really there, with a Dubai-based carrier that actually, like Airbus's own A380 program, is carrying the bulk of orders, but still has no aircraft to show for it, which they've noted on numerous occasions they're pretty frustrated by. While the 777X has lagged, largely not helped by the 350's head start, Airbus will need to watch closely how Boeing develops, if at all, the 777X variant, and whether or not a response with their own A350 is required to offer competitors something else if the need for an even higher capacity plane does present itself in the future. At least they will have done that studying. What about for now? Well, the A350 stretch, if something comes to fruition, wouldn't likely emerge anytime soon. Why? Well, Airbus has a pretty hectic couple of years ahead of themselves, aside from believing it's not required, including the A350 program itself. Qantas is expecting its first A350, made explicitly for Qantas and their Project Sunrise flights. These planes will connect every corner of the globe. Then you have the A350 freighter, which is part of Airbus's next generation of freighters and a pretty hopeful attempt at cancelling out Boeing's very strong position that they've found themselves in the past couple of decades, that has seen them move significantly ahead of Airbus when it comes to freighters and just how many cargo planes in the sky are Boeing's. And on top of that, there's still the recovery from the global pandemic and rebuilding supply chains, where Airbus is hopeful that it can grow monthly production rates to a more optimal level. So, a watchful eye will no doubt still be kept on the space, requirements laid out by customers if that's going to change, the potential future development of the 777X, and much more. Still, Airbus remains adamant that a plane isn't required, even though there is a gap in capacity. As always though, most won't rule out the jet if an opportunity arises. Could the A350 stretch potentially steal 777-9 customers, or is the A350-1000 an opportunity to really solidify itself as a flagship for the European plane maker? Let me know down below in the comments. This is obviously a fascinating topic, and the reality is one could sit here for 40 minutes detailing how this has progressed over the years, dive deeper into the 777X and much more, and maybe that is a mini-series in itself to take a look at in the future. For now though, we'll see the A350-1000 continue to thrive, and Airbus study just how the 777X develops. Thanks a lot for watching, take care and be safe, and I'll see you next time for more aviation analysis right here on GlobeTrotting.